Welcome, everybody. This is Ava filling in for John. Welcome to Mertech.com's Daily News Update Extra. We are sharing a video snippet that provides no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. I am following this channel and given this video a thumbs up. The link to this video is in the description box below. Please follow Mertech on Rumble. Give me a thumbs up and share this information far and wide. This great news update will begin momentarily. Thank you and may God bless.
It's always great when we're able to be joined by an ACLJ client, someone that we've been able to work with, someone to be able to be successful with. And we are excited to be joined by Zach Knotts, who is joining us right now live and thankfully able to do this interview live. Zach, thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
All right, let's start at the beginning here. Give us a little background on your ministry, what you've been doing, and who you are, and then we'll get to why we needed to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So my wife and I go to the Northeast Ohio Women's Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, every Saturday morning. Been going for about 5 months now, and we minister to the women. We offer whatever assistance they need while we're out there, whether it's if they want to give their child up for adoption, if they need financial assistance, whatever it is, we're there prepared and willing to give whatever they need before they go inside. And it's been a challenge just because of the resistance we face, but that's what we do every Saturday morning. We do it for the glory of God, and we're grateful to be there. My wife was actually saved from an abortion, so that's why we have a really personal touch to this. Her mother was on her way back to her appointment, and God literally gave her a vision. She was not a Christian at the time, would become a Christian for about 20 years, and she saw exactly what happens back there, blood all over the walls, saw demons manifesting, and she ran out screaming. So my wife's life was literally saved through a supernatural intervention by God. So we have a very personal touch to it, and we're very grateful to be able to be the voice of the voiceless on the sidewalk every Saturday.
For sure. And you talk about some of the resistance that you've encountered. Now, obviously, it gets amped up a little bit in the coming weeks or the previous weeks. But before that, what did that look like on these streets when you were there trying to convince people, to talk to people, to counsel people to make the right decision, to choose life there? But what is that resistance? Because I think when you hear someone like Ohio, a place that Midwest, we're not talking about, you're not doing this in LA, you're not doing this in New York, where you feel like the resistance would be stronger. But what is it like there?
Yeah, so the clinic has 8 to 10 escorts every Saturday. So they park in the back. So we have about 10 or 15 seconds to try to speak as loudly as we can so they can hear us over the kazoos, the whistles, the cowbells, the tambourines, and the music. So it's very difficult to get our voices heard. We have such a short period of time to say anything just to try to get our voices heard. And in between then, of course, the escorts will mock us. They'll say vile things to us. So it's difficult because you really do have, it's 10 to 15 seconds, if that, between life and death. So it's been really hard just even getting our voices heard. So that's why we wanted to use that.
Just for clarity, so the escorts and the people around them are making these kind of noises and racket and the music and these kazoo, like that's coming from just the people, the escorts walking these women into the facility?
Every single time. And I mean, with cowbells, they usually will have sometimes have a boombox of music playing on a car that's parked, one of the escorts' car, and then, the kazoos, whistles, it gets really loud. So we're literally trying to be heard over that.
A parade and celebration of death, it feels like. I mean, that is so bizarre to hear. And I mean, you think of it as this moment of that sadness, a moment that everyone, if you made that decision, though we disagree with it, obviously it's an important one. And we think that you should be treating it as a sad moment. But again, like you said, they're creating this sort of chaos. But the ACLJ has to get involved. And Will, I'll let you take the next question here because now things get interesting.
That's right. So even though the clinic employees or volunteers and escorts are clearly causing a disturbance with their noise, but something happened to you one fateful Saturday.
So I had a small, it was just a headset that I would have, and I like to use that because I can talk in my normal voice. My wife and I she'll preach the gospel as well, and we'll use our normal talking voice so we don't have to yell. Well, that died, and I went and got the megaphone that I had and was using that to preach the gospel. I want the women inside the clinic to hear me in case they decide to change their minds and run out. And the battery died, and I wasn't even really paying attention to my surroundings because we were continuing to engage the escorts and just preach Christ to them. And 3 cop cars pulled up. Again, I was completely oblivious to it because I was focused on the conversation. And then Sergeant comes up and says, "You're coming with us." And I'm confused. I'm like, "What for? What did I do?" And he says, "Not the time for questions. You're coming with us." And then I'm still confused. And then he threatens to place me under arrest if I don't walk with him. So under threat of arrest, I walked with him to the squad car, and they put me in the back and they charged me with disorderly conduct for being too loud and causing annoyance or inconvenience was the actual charge.
And that's where the ACLJ has to get involved, because this seems like an issue that we would have been doing in the 1990s. It feels like it is well settled.
They were taking you to trial over this, and the ACLJ was standing with you. But on Friday, all that changed when we were able to achieve a victory on your behalf, so that you would not face the legal system even before it got to the trial, able to secure a victory.
I couldn't be more grateful for the ACLJ. I mean, when I sent the email, I mean, that night I got a response from Liam and he called me, and he's just been phenomenal. Everybody that's helped, ever since. But, going into the trial, because I had seen, and I followed the case, the docket meticulously, and I had seen everything that the ACLJ wrote and just the depth of their analysis and calling out the law for what it was, unconstitutional, really made me feel just so good and so well, protected, not only by God, but through the legal system with the ACLJ. I knew everything was going to resolve in my favor. I had such complete peace on Friday. And like you said, we had victory, and I truly could be more grateful to God for just the providence and, being in this situation for his glory. And then also with the ACLJ and just the phenomenal legal defense they provided for me. I'm truly grateful.
Zach, thank you so much. And I'm so glad you're able to join us. Look, a lot of these cases take years and years, and we're not able to have the clients on air. We're not, and sometimes it takes, there's a lot of, quiet that has to be done so we can have success. But because you were able to get success so quick, we're able to kind of real time have you on to tell your story. When I say, and I tell this to our audience all the time, when you go to aclj.org/help, you fill out that little form, you fill out that email, you're going to get in touch with a lawyer, as he said, very quickly. This is not a process that we're sitting there and months and months and months. Maybe you're going to hear back, maybe not. If it's within scope, you're going to hear from our incredible team very quickly. And the team thinks 3-dimensionally, 5-dimensionally, 10-dimensionally, as I said, because though it is over for you, thank God, Zach, you are able to continue what you're doing.
We're going to now take a civil suit against the very ordinance that was not being applied equally under the law. It was targeting the pro-life ministry there. It wasn't going after those that were causing a ruckus with noisemakers. And so we are proud that we can now stand alongside you to represent you to try and push back against the law so that this won't happen again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that I love about the ACLJ is just setting a precedent for people like me and my wife and our friends on the sidewalk that are going to be the voice of the voiceless and just fighting against tyranny is what it is. Like you said, they, charged me, but, the escorts were making just as much, if not more noise with musical instruments, which is also forbidden in the same ordinance, and they weren't cited either. So to be able to do this and to just, tell everybody that's, on the sidewalk preaching the gospel and sharing the good news of Christ with women, escorts, everybody, you have a right to be there and you have a right for your voice to be heard. And you don't, if the government comes after you, you have to fight back and stand there for the glory of God.
Thank you for reaching out and understanding that we are there if you need us. And the ACLJ is available to you as well if you're listening or watching right now. Go to aclj.org/help. If it's within
This sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID. But they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech, Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers, they don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you, but if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our